Okay, first thing on the study session is review of the bylaws. I went through, I never got any calls back from anybody. The only one that I seen that Harry came back in under page 4, under the pledge, we have moment of silent reflection that wasn't in there. That we need to
yeah, it
add
sure
in.
isn't. It should be.
Other than that, looked pretty good.
With that being said, you guys will need to accept the bylaws, as per the rules and regs. I just got them and I'm reviewing them. With the rules and regs, those are off of your resolutions that you made, so you won't have to approve them, because they'll just follow off your regulation, off your resolutions that you made. That's what.
So
But I'll get everybody a copy as soon as I go through them to make sure that they match the resolutions that as to, because I know we had a couple of resolutions, and I know there was one was with the stop work order. It was me, and we added a designee, so that way if somebody on the CCAC committee seen something, it could have been brought to me and said, yeah, you could have go ahead and write them up as a stop work order.
So all of the resolutions that had anything to do with rules and regs are in this.
No, they're not in with the,
no rules and regs.
those are separate than your bylaws. These are just your bylaws that you're gonna have. The next will be your rules and regs, like I said, after I go through them completely to make sure that they matched up with anything that we put in as a resolution.
We did change some rules and regs because of my resolution, so
Yeah.
they need to be
Yeah,
up.
yeah, and I'll bring them to the board next meeting to review them.
Okay.
Okay?
Any questions or comments?
So, the only one, I briefly read through this. The only one that I had a question was on, what was this?
Okay.
Page 3, section E. No informal action by directors. All official business of board shall be conducted at regular or special meetings. All matters concerning personnel, litigation, and real estate will be addressed in executive session of the board. Shouldn't that be all matters? Because we don't have to do it in executive session. They can do it in open session if the employee chooses, but that's not written in here.
You just need to refer to the statute. Just put the first statute there, because statute allows exactly what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Otherwise,
That's first statute.
Otherwise, at first, it is in executive session unless by statute, I come out and say I want it in open.
In open session,
Yeah.
yes. It just wasn't listed here is the reason why I was saying.
Yep.
If you wanted to pencil in first statute, you would be good. For Colorado revised statutes.
Which one is that?
Page 3, section
Okay, Sam, you're cut off already.
E. Turn it on.
First statute would be good.
For Colorado revised statute.
Yes.
That was the only thing I noticed.
Okay, my concern, I think, was amongst these was getting our rules and regs up to date, so
Yeah.
as long as we're going to be doing that. Okay, anything else? Comments from the board? All right.
CCAC reviews.
We have a number, we have 11 first, 11 second letters, and we have 4 bills.
I only have 3. You had garage on East Jefferson,
Okay.
a garage on West Jefferson, and a house on McIntyre.
Any of these mountain home properties?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, there's three.
Yeah.
The one, so the two, Bob and I inspected them, we were waiting for a couple of things, we received those, the color change stuff. On Jefferson and on McIntyre, we recommend approval of those. We have one that's on Jefferson, on West Jefferson, that we did not have to, and we probably missed that, to be able to go out and look at the stakes and to look at the setup to his request.
Is that the one that you were gonna ask the board to?
Yes, if I would like the board to consider allowing us to approve that, if we go out and look at it and be okay.
Pending your review?
So that would mean you kind of trust us.
Hmm.
That's kind of a hum.
Hmm.
So that would be the, any questions? Go ahead.
When did that come in?
What's the date on the app?
April 1st.
So did it miss the architectural meeting?
I think it got stuck behind the other one, 14, I think they got stuck together. We should have a folder on it, we didn't have one.
I came in this morning and looked at all your things. The thing I couldn't find, though, I found all these, but I couldn't find any of the covenant complaints. Didn't see anything in the folder. That Jim just had listed the letters and stuff, but I didn't see any in the folder that he had in his desk. And I don't think you'll see them there either, if that's the same ones that he has.
I don't quite understand this. We have,
Cause that's what you handed me Friday.
we also have, so that if I can, maybe we need to amend the agenda here a bit. We have these other two here, Jim, that we approve, or that we recommend approval. The one for the roof, the solar roof, and the one for, the fence on Stanley.
Yeah, I looked at all three, I looked at all,
So-
everything you had in your packet I looked at, but I didn't double check here to see if they were on here, but I looked at all your packet there, but I didn't see anything with the covenants or anything.
Yeah, the covenants actually were on a spreadsheet. And the way that we took those off was, the way that we're recommending the first and second letters is by looking at the spreadsheet. We audited the spreadsheet and drove around and looked to see if there's any action on the different complaints that we'd had that were on the spreadsheet.
I mean, I don't mind about the second one, but the first one, I think Greg addressed that meetings ago. We don't know what they are. We don't know what the extent they are or who they even pertain to, and I think we need to, I hate to vote for something that I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of line.
Go ahead.
One thing you might check there is, we've been creating a separate file for each one. It should have the original complaint, the complaint we write up, and then the covenants listed in that file. Every single one has a separate file now. I don't know if you found that or not, but every
I didn't
single
find that.
complaint has a separate file, separate manila folder.
And then they're kept, that folder out here.
I don't know if they were they here?
She wasn't here Monday when I was going through things, that's probably why. Okay, I can do it.
Mr. Chairman, may I continue? One thing we do need to point out is, we're behind on all this because it appears that some of the spreadsheet got cross-posted and we're working through trying to sort it out now. So as we tried to audit the spreadsheet, we're coming up with, well, we thought we already did this, and we're now trying to audit the two files when there should have been one file there. We're working on trying to sort all that out without moving forward, because a lot of them that we thought were in third letter stage are actually, we're falling back to the second letter to see, we're auditing the second, see if it went out and see if the condition is still there.
So, as for the new constructions, you got while we're in a work session, what do you add to the, when we do them during the board meeting, which ones you wanna add to that?
We have,
You have the jewelry one, I know that was a jewelry roofing.
what we need to add would be 3131 Stanley for a fence. And 5736 Lake Beckwith Drive,
57?
5736 Lake Beckwith Drive. That's for new roof. And it's a solar roof, solar panel roof.
And that one was in for review.
Yes, these were in for review. We have reviewed these.
Yes,
Yeah.
they should have been on the agenda, those have
I
been reviewed.
probably missed.
Cause I saw those in that, but I didn't understand that folder, but I saw them all in the folder.
Right.
Okay. Okay,
So Stanley was what, the fence?
3331 Stanley is a
31.
fence. Or 3131,
and that was a
sorry.
fence, right?
That's a fence, right.
Okay. Then the other-
5736 Lake Beckwith Drive.
Was a
for
solar roof.
a solar roof, yes.
Well, they're going from asphalt to metal and then adding solar to the metal.
Okay.
And the color is similar to the home.
Questions? Okay, another thing, as we were out auditing and looking at things, we found one area, we found quite a lot of areas, but we found one area that, the owner, or I presume it's the owner, did a pretty nice job of starting to develop a driveway into a piece of property out south of, off of Estelle, south of Virginia.
Off of where?
Way out there.
Off of Estelle. It's southeast south of
What
Paris.
did you say? Estelle.
Estelle, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's spent some money doing it. It's a pretty nice driveway, kind of a little circle driveway going into this kind of patch of trees there just to the south of Gunners Creek. It looks like, it appeared, we don't know, because there's nothing there. There was no structure there whatsoever, and really nothing there other than this kind of a nice driveway with new gravel and pretty well done. And a kind of a level pad as to where it appears that there would be an opportunity to put a little camper trailer or tent or RV or something in there, that is not there. So we're gonna have to watch that. And what I did, Bob and I kind of, Bob brought it up, is that maybe what we have to do is post a sign in areas like this. We could post it on the right of way, so it's not on private property, just alerting people that there are covenants and regulations that they need to follow. And maybe kind of try to be proactive with this rather than reactive. So, I think that's a good idea. I did talk to Planning and Development of Preble County, and he said, yeah, that's great, it's wonderful, he said, do it. He said, we've done that in the past, and the signs just disappeared. He said, and we've had people call in to ask if they can camp. And we tell them, no, they can't camp in private property in Preble County. And he said, and what we find is that they camp anyway, and then we come back later and find a mess. But regardless, being reactive is frustrating. Being proactive, maybe at least, let's try it. So what I did is I just printed up a couple of things here. One of the things, of course, is I also talked to the sheriff, and we do need to post on property that we don't want vehicles driving on, where there's a problem. So if we post on there, then we can, and even if the signs get destroyed, whatever, as long as it hasn't been posted, then we can have the sheriff tag the cars or cite somebody for trespassing. So what I did is, I just drew up a couple of little signs here that I would suggest, and see what you think of those. If it's okay, we'll look at going forward with those. And I'm open to ideas. I'm open to suggestions as to different wording, ideas as to how to do this. Again, trying to be proactive rather than reactive.
Just 10 minutes, please.
Go ahead, Bob.
Just picking on the place on Estelle, he's not in any violations at this point. But you can tell he spent a lot of money in preparation that he could easily get in some real trouble that would cost him financially, and we don't wanna see somebody go ahead and do something without knowing, and it cost them thousands of dollars to rectify the situation. Now, we have others that have already just done whatever they wanted to, that are quote unaware of the covenants, and it would help them when we approach. I've actually, this last audit, I got out of the truck and spoke to a gentleman, Neil's gotten out of the truck and spoke with different people as we meet them and go along. We're trying to head it off at the pass by just being nice to them and informing them, we are doing something. Like mine was an actual complaint. I don't think the one Neil talked to was an actual complaint. He had concerns, and we try to address them nicely so that it doesn't create a financial situation on the property owner going forward. One of them, down in Applewood, they've got enough lumber there to start building a house, so they need to know, like, wait a minute, you're already in violation. If you continue here, you're really gonna be in a hurt, because there's thousands of dollars of lumber being prepped.
Go ahead.
Where about on Estelle is this at? Because
It's
there's no
hidden in-
water, there's no sewer, and
It's
there's
hidden
no
in the
power.
trees.
Huh?
It's hidden in the trees by the creek.
It's down,
It's actually not a stele, it's a side cul-de-sac or
it's,
something that comes off of it.
it's kind of down just about as you.
But you're right, there's no water and sewer there.
There is no water,
No,
there's
there's
no
no-
sewer, and there
Yeah.
is no power.
So it's-
But like I
it's
say, he
campus.
has spent thousands
Huh?
already.
Just a simple.
Yeah,
campus
they need the
facility.
ADOs.
So, it's along here somewhere.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well,
And of course, they have crossed the ditch or the, whatever
The
ditch.
Granaris,
Which is a county roads and bridge issue. And I don't think we wanna go there, but if we could,
but no,
they need to
I
be aware of
mean,
it. They need to be aware of the issue.
yeah, I
the
mean,
problem that we're finding with the outlying area is we can't just walk up and say, that's lot so-and-so and unit so-and-so. That's why we've had to request surveys, because there's no stakes out there that we can
Well,
find.
and unfortunately, I mean, you guys, most of you guys have already seen them. We've got a lot of people on Facebook buying up lots, and they're selling lots out here, and they're telling people in other states, come buy yourself a piece of paradise, camp all you want, live out in the wilderness. And they're buying these lots thinking they can camp on them and move in with their tents and everything else.
Usually if I see it, I address it right away and say, there
Well,
is
see,
no
there's
doubt.
nobody there when we go by, and we can tell it's a weekend type.
And unfortunately, I wish there was something we could do about the people selling those lots, because they're selling and breaking the law, but they're doing it.
Okay, well, enough about that. Any questions, comments? Okay. All right, so that's it for the study session. Close the study session, open the record meeting, board of directors, located in the Metropolitan District at 6:20. Join the pledge of allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you join in a moment of silent reflection, if you so choose. Thank you. The minutes show that we have a full quorum, all board members present. To give approval of the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda for April 12th with the addition of 2 items for new construction. 3131 Stanley Drive and 5726 Lake Beckwith Drive, a fence and a roof.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes with the amended, construction items. Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, next,
Oh, I guess we got.
approval of the
Minutes,
minutes.
don't we?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we got minutes coming up, right?
I make a motion at this time that we approve the minutes of study session March 29th, regular meeting March 29th, CCAC meeting March 31st, and April 7th.
I'll second that motion.
Moving second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Bills payable?
Okay, under your red section, you have your check register. We did, pay for our filters. We did get reimbursed $80,000 on the filters. It is in this, that's why it's so high. It's
From the insurance?
Yes.
That does not show up here.
No, it doesn't show up that we got the 80,000 yet.
Mr. Chairman, are we in discussion on
No, not yet. There,
I make a motion we approve the bills.
got a motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
Moving second, now we're in discussion.
this? Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions, whether it be manager or finance department. When I go over this, a couple of them are pretty minor, but, question, Phil, it says here that you got a 3/4 push-on hose, is that just a garden hose? A what? 3/4 inch push-on hose.
Can I answer that? Yes, he got a new hose. It is one that is on all the time that he uses to wash his carts. It's a real heavy duty hose to withstand being on
Okay.
all the time.
So you did get a garden hose?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is, not, you using a special connector then, okay. And then the same spot, it says oil drum valve, corded earplug, and I can't read, oil. That one seemed a little high, I don't know why, but $204. What kind of valve did we get there?
That was the valve for the front sprinkler system. It had to be replaced. It's pump valve setup.
It says oil drum valve.
I don't know what that is. That would be under Mark's.
Right.
Mark, and I don't think Mark is here.
Okay, skipping that, Rampart Supply, 4 PVC Schedule 80Ts, bushing, union, nipples, pipe, $247. Now, 4 of those and a little pipe isn't that much money, that must be a hell of a lot of pipe.
That was for the replacement of the valve over here off of the raw water line over by T number 13. It is actually a 12 inch, wasn't it? Or 10 inch.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's explained.
That explains it.
Now, I've also got here, this one is of concern to me. Rodeo Grounds well under the electric company. Everybody else is in 50, 60, 300, 172, 80, and then this one's $2,332 for the electric bill on that well, and we're not using
We're
wells.
not.
We
So-
did. Yes, sir, we did.
You
Due to
use,
the fact that they're getting ready to shut us down again, we needed to get as much water. I can only put 15 feet in there. We got it up
well,
to 15
let's back
feet.
up there for a minute, because you're getting into a whole different ballgame, and I will explain that one later
Okay.
in the meeting. But to be running that well right now,
But the
especially
well
for
is off,
2,300.
Mr. Cook.
huh?
The well is off.
If it's off, Why do we have $2,300 electric bill?
That was last month's bill when they said that they were going to work on 165 and we shut off the ditch. So we ran it for 15 days or something to add water to the lake because at that time we weren't over full. We were only at 14. So we wanted to keep the water up, so we ran it at that point.
Okay.
So you're looking at a bill from a month.
And then we've got headgate and fuel to transport headgate. Did we buy a brand new headgate?
No, that was to clean the head gate that was silted in from the storm last year. After we just got through cleaning it, they had to go back in and clean it. They had some extra, the fuel was because they ended up having to move a pile and move it completely out of the way. I told them, well, that's what was part of the bid. They said, I'll split the fuel with you. That's where we were at. Because that was the original price that he wanted to clean the head gate, but
Okay.
there was extra work
When
that
did
was
we
done.
approve the cleaning of the headgate?
That's part of operations.
I understand that. But anytime something goes over $5,000, it's supposed to be presented to the board. This is $12,000.
It's part of operations.
I understand that.
Operations, it was in operations, in the budget.
Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Anybody else? Okay, let's vote on paying the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let's pay the bills. Financial report.
Financial, we'll give them next meeting. She's done with them. She's caught up with everything, to this point, but it just didn't get out early enough to get them out with the packet. Standpipe, if you go into operationals, standpipe, it's right at where we're at, that 0.5. I know we had a quarter jam up situation on the standpipe, so we're right at the 25 cents a thousand. Have you run into any problems, Bob?
Not within the last time I hauled, but that was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so, like I said, if you have any time that you see that, let me know. We've been trying to check it on a month-to-month basis after we get through with meters to go out and check and make sure that we're right at that.
I was gonna say, I just hauled a tank of water 2 days ago and it went fine.
Yeah, but to get it at the 25 cents a gallon.
No, it was about right.
Yeah,
When we ran it, it was
he called me
correct.
and verified it.
Yeah, I called him and verified it and it was correct.
Okay. Like I said, we're trying to keep a close eye on it because sometimes with the temperature flux, that's what happens with it. Administrative report, we've got applications turned into senators for amount of 41 million for the dam, water lines, pre-treatment for water plant. Individual letters were sent to Bennett and Hickenlooper, talking to State Representative Bobbitt to help endorse this. Continue to work on survey ground with FEMA. Talked to Chuck today. We're looking into seeing if we can get for the survey. He's supposed to get back to me on yet. I have a meeting tomorrow with Colorado Conservancy Water District. Me and Yvonne will be talking to him at 10 o'clock in the morning. DOLA, I'm still working on her. So we're still in that process of getting that 100,000 right off the bat. The engineering for the ARPA funds, 3.7 for 2 miles of water line and tank rehab is still moving forward. Talked with Mr. White. He's pretty close to having everything ready to go for bid. There was a few reviews that we did. He wants to have a couple core samples done on Red Cloud because we're going to have to move that from the right side of the road to the center of the road. Feeling that, to keep everybody in service and be able to move at a section at a time, it would be the best way, the engineer stated. So that's what we're looking for, is a couple of core samples to make sure that we know what they're really digging in, because we know there's gonna be some granite in that roadway.
So they're leaving the old pipe in place, basically bypassing it?
Yeah,
In some sections, yes.
yeah. Apple Park is still in process. I got a call from Kelly yesterday afternoon. We were hauling gravel because we needed to get a couple of roads repaired and up to where they can use them. He called, he stated that at the present time with the gravel situation, they're putting out the crushing contract out this next meeting, which I think is Thursday, the county is. So he wants to hold back from us using any gravel at this point if we do have some kind of a washout or whatever, because I think all he has is probably about 25 loads left of gravel in our pit. So that's gonna kind of hold us back with the Applewood. I told him our situation, that we have about 3 roads that need to be, so we need this kind of expedited as to getting gravel. Dual well, talked to Richard, he still hasn't got a set time for the scheduler. They're still waiting on parts. Grader is back up in operation, running with roads at present time to make sure it's in good shape. I know Aiden and Chris, they got Gilpin and Douglas Way and Griswold kind of patched in where we needed to with what they've hauled. They've ran the grader. They did a real good job up on Griswold, wrapping up water loss issues with the dial issue within the building program. That have been here since the past administration. Ron and Christie, they've went back through. We contacted the people that we did change dials, and they got the big bills, and you guys cleared to waive that. We've done that. Most people have been understanding about what happened, and they're going forward. Election information was sent out. A lot of calls for information on candidates, informing them that the Greenhorn Valley View should have write-ups in it. Since CCMD cannot sponsor anything, we cannot hold a forum for candidates. It has to be by an outside group that wants to do it. So if you know of anybody that would like to sponsor it, we'd be able to have a forum, but it's on them, not us. Continue to answering emails, calls, drop-in visitors on property issues and or covenants, constant communication to residents through Facebook, making sure website's up to date, answering if questions are asked, completed communications with CDPHE and staying in line with compliance issues as well, with engineers to help with issues over the last year. We'll continue to give quarterly updates to CHMIP. We also have an appointment, Greg and Gary and I, we're going to go up and look at a DAF system up at Johnstown that they put in. It's been in operation for about 6 months to a year. I wanna ask some questions and see what their outlook on it is before we say, yeah, this is what we really need. So we're planning on doing that sometime next week, pulling away and going up and checking it out, and also Lake George, right?
Yes.
Carter Lake.
Carter Lake.
Sorry.
Carter Lake was the other one.
If I may interrupt you just real quick on that subject, can you find anybody that's had them in place a little bit longer than that?
Carter Lake has had it for about 2 years.
Okay.
So that's why we're gonna check both places.
We're gonna start with Johnstown, cause they just put it in, Mr. Collin. And so we're seeing what the DPDs are doing.
'Cause they-
How, when they put it online, coming down, and then we're gonna go to Carter Lake, which has had it for quite a while.
Cause their surface water is similar to ours, Carter Lake is. Grant class for infrastructure bill, been taking some of them for other areas that we're looking at. In other meetings with the state and county, contacting employees weekly, making sure that our day-to-day operations. Water rights issue, we're still waiting on funding on that. We did go up, Greg went up and checked the ditch. They're not pulling any water. There's no water going through the flume, so nobody's pulling any water out of that for that water right. Still in communication with Neptune. I did get a report from at 5 o'clock from Joey. We found a way that we can put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Probably get with Neil tomorrow and see what information we need, because I can pull it off the dashboard and get an Excel sheet as to whatever. We're able to locate how to do that now. Preparing meeting agenda and trying to gather information. Your water report is the next one. The one that's on the back is mess up. As you can see, there's a big number there about halfway down the page, which is the 4-inch meter commercial. It's 8 million. That there is due to those dial issues. So there's 8 million gallons within over the year that was not accounted for in non-bill. So when we changed the dials, that's why it came into this. The next report will be closer into what we're producing and what we're billing for. If you look down at the rate summary gallons wise, we produced 14,000 or 14 million. We also added in the standpipe because the standpipe is not as a bill. It is what we take in on when we pull that money on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday as to credit cards, quarters, whatever. That was for the month we used 117,658 gallons went through the standpipe for that 30-day period. So that's why there's that note there that it's overstated due to the incorrect dials and stuff on that.
So, Jim, if I may,
Sure.
this corrected, so 14,181,636 plus the standpipe 117,687.
Yeah.
That is corrected from 14,404,201.
Yes.
So we're talking $200,000 or 200,000 gallons difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
No.
No.
It's probably your report this month is closer to about 4 to 5 million. This report is skewed because we had to go back and make all those adjustments where we did not bill for like 9 million gallons of water.
Okay, so we still don't have a report.
Correct. The next one will be
Mr. Chairman, point of order. You've got water loss issue at the old business. We can get into that in depth.
Well, yeah, this report though doesn't give us the numbers.
yeah, it isn't going to be as accurate
All right, go ahead.
as we like it. And that's why I'm saying, I'm giving you a report to show you that the changes that we have made
Yeah,
are,
We're still at a huge water loss.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, next we have Holly Dot, Colorado City, course manager's report. Greens course, we had 0.8 inches waterfall collected in rain gauge between 323 and 410 plus snowfall. Bunkers T construction started between April 18th and May 2nd. Greens been mowed 4 times this year already. They are mowed when appropriate for weather conditions and tournament schedule. Good amount of goose damage on greens, fairways, and tees. Goose crap cleanup done when needed. We bought a new rake for that. It breaks it up pretty well. If you notice, we're using it as fertilizer, so it's actually making the course be course irrigation. Back 9 main line work, leak fixed. Thanks to Aiden and staff for helping. Back 9 system charged up on April 4th. 1 ground fault. Other than that, no issues. Front 9 charged up on April 8th. Front 9 half-inch pump needed to be replaced, installed on April 7th. Front 9 had 6 wildcats, uncontrollable heads. Front 9 satellite work, ditch cleaned out, and it is our current water source. Shop work, replacing all reels, bearings, seals on the 29 fairway unit, has 3,000. Golf course Pro Shop 2002 March month of March membership was $16,814. 2021 March revenue was $37,633. Total revenue for 2022 March revenue was $39,072. We have all card serviced work on, except for a few on maintenance side. We'll be getting them done this month. Course is overall is in good shape. Thanks to Mark Ansbar and staff, tournament season is underway. Water wastewater report. March wastewater flows were 8.5 million gallons. There were no major issues. 4.6, the dam started in on Basin 2, preparing for diffuser replacement. The water plant produced 10.4 million gallons. Skid 3 filters were replaced, removed and replaced with new. This helped the production of the skid. With the old filters they took out, they took them up and they are cleaning them. We kind of found a solution that has been working to clean them, so that way we'll bag them and put them back into use if we can. There was a solution that they were using. It's Gary's secret, but I know what it is. It's
Pack 27 and Dawn.
Pack 27 and Dawn is cleaning them, so we can't pour Dawn into our skids while it's running. But it is working out and cleaning them well. The new heater was installed and is helping to maintain temps on the west wall area. Protecting the chemicals is very important. Pricing has almost doubled on it. The BUP updating on the plant has come to near completion. We are looking into all options to improve plant performance and working with engineers to find best way to increase TOC removal. Sepro rep was out to look at the lake to help with algicide options. Grid has been in touch with DOW to possibly add carp to the lake. The booster pumps are back in the vault and are nearly ready to put online. Tank 4 to skate equipment is in and being put together and is almost ready to install. 420 is proposed date. Dual well is still waiting for construction to show up. Most of the ditch water is running down the creek. Approximately 260,000 gallons is going to ball field, raw water, and golf course. Okay, Parks and Recs operational report. Campground revenue March of 2022, $9,813.16. As of first quarter for 2022, we have $22,471.92 compared to last year, which was $19,055.60. Campground is still starting to get busier now that it is starting to warm up. Baseball fields are dried out and being used every day of the week. We added new infield mix to both fields this year which hasn't been done over to the East Field in a long time and helped tremendously. Parks and Rec League recreation is underway and will start in May. We will begin spring cleanup this month. We have branches, trees, leaves, and pine needles to pick up the pool, park, and campground and lake. Aiden, you wanna add stuff to water side?
Yeah, Jim touched on most of it. Let's look at a few things here. Let's see. You touched on the golf course on the back nine. We also ran an extended service line up Douglas, which is over at the top of Red Cloud. It's a temporary 1-inch service. Also had some service repairs at the shop, worked on the transmissions on the truck, a couple of the front ends. Also made some repairs at the water plant. Let's see, reinstalled boosters. Pretty much covered most everything. We ended the month with installing the new diffusers in Basin 2 at the sewer plant, building a few roads over on Gilpin, Douglas, and Griswold. That's pretty much all I got.
On our diffusers, were you able to find any O-rings?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
There's no O-rings in Pueblo that will work, so I gotta call Sanitary tomorrow morning and see if I can't get them expedited here.
Okay. You have anything you want to add?
No, I haven't had time. I've been getting our ledgers and everything updated for all the, working with Bev on payroll, working with Christy on all the corrections to the system. So I didn't have time to get one, sorry.
No, that's all right.
The board have any questions?
Mr.
Go ahead, Ms. Cook.
First off, you said you couldn't get an O-ring.
Yes, sir.
They're O-rings that go on the end of our pipes in our diffuser. When we going through the diffusers, we noticed that there was
They're decayed so bad. They've been in there
Are the
since
O-rings
2010.
readily available?
no.
No,
Then why haven't you purchased an O-ring production kit?
Mr. Cook,
When you can't buy a specific O-ring, you make it. It's a very cheap kit. You can make your own O-rings. Okay.
What else?
Next is jetting. Where are we at on the jetting?
Having progress on that.
Water meters.
I think we installed 10
You installed 10,
meters this month.
okay? But you got nowhere on the jetting.
Correct.
Where are you at on your percentage for the year?
I could get you a number on that.
Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Jim, we have discussed in the past contracting out jetting.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be doing that?
I think it might be a good idea. It's a very
That's
good
something
idea.
we probably have to, we should get some information.
And I'll get some more information on it for you.
Mr. Chairman, yes, please.
Go ahead.
You know, we allowed them to contract out and they still didn't meet quota. Something's gotta change.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions?
I had a quick question, Jim, on the golf shop activities report.
Mm-hmm.
The second and third number, is that March versus March or year-to-date versus year-to-date?
March versus March.
Okay, so the golf pro shop was up almost 4% over last March, and the campground was up 18% first quarter to first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have here.
I might add today that gentlemen were working on another project and they had to be called off because a private contractor broke a water line over there in the village area. And they had to shut down that whole area to fix that today. So, the emergency things happen because you gotta have water and sewer. And those things happen and it's not on your agenda to fix.
Jim, you brought it up with, the playground. So we have a dump truck for gravel. What
Yeah.
about the fall protection?
We're still working on getting prices for that. Josh hasn't got back to me, and I'll give it Josh.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak on the playground as well. He's talking about the gravel. Last year, when we talked about gravel, we talked about having more gravel than we needed. And now he's telling us we're short. How's this work?
I didn't tell you we had more gravel than we needed.
When we were discussing the lease, everybody said that more than we always use.
I don't remember saying that. I said that we needed more gravel. If we're going into the road business, yes.
We need to get that Apple playground done.
Yeah.
But they have another issue, the truck doesn't have, he can't get he's trying to get the permit from the title from the, lady, so we can get the truck running.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I don't know if this is the proper time for this, but I've covered this before, that we always seem to be managing everything by emergency here. And you've told me several times that we have enough personnel to do this stuff. And I have continually said that we don't have enough personnel to do this stuff. And we're continuing to manage by emergency because, like the break that just happened, that stuff's always gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it isn't every day. It's just
We're
happening.
gonna have breaks once or twice a month.
Lately we not come with it.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't predict it. It's always gonna happen.
It's gonna happen from time to time.
So,
Yeah.
all I'm getting at is we really need to look at our personnel situation because we gotta get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't got enough people to get the job done, then we need to hire the people to get the job done.
All right, wrap it up.
I yield.
Anybody else? All right, let's move on. I'm gonna read the be nice statement. In order for the business of the board to be conducted in the most effective and expeditious manner, it is necessary that all persons present maintain a demeanor of civility towards the board, staff, and each other. Conduct that appears threatening or aggressive will not be tolerated. Shouting, speaking out of order, or the use of offensive gestures similarly are not acceptable. Such behavior shall constitute the forfeiture of the right to remain in attendance and may, as a point of order brought to the board's attention by council or any board member, including the chairperson, result in your being asked to leave the meeting by the chairperson or, upon your refusal, being escorted out of the meeting by the proper authority.
Okay, first on our list is Dennis Cards. Is it Cards?
Yeah, I was just curious. I've been gone for 6 months, so I thought, well, I'll come back and see where we're at on my recommendation that you guys figure out some way to allow ATVs to be driven on the roads around here in Colorado City.
I guess that I will answer that. We haven't.
Well, I thought after 6 months maybe
I think
somebody would maybe do something, but okay.
The concern there, I think, probably is liability and within Crawford County. Go ahead, Bob.
One of the major holdback and sticking point, I've explained this to the board, that 90-something% of all the roads here belong to Pueblo County, not us. We got like 10 miles of road. That's it. Everything else belongs to Pueblo County. Now, out in the other areas where the roads technically aren't put in, those are ours. But the finished roads, if that's what you're asking about, the finished gravel roads, the paved roads, all of those except for like a small handful of roads belong to Pueblo County.
I understand that.
They'll have to address it at their level. We have no authority over them.
My understanding was somebody on the board here was going to go to Pueblo County and, check on that, but
I don't think we have a good answer for you. I think that's a legitimate question, so I think that I will, I'll get back with you. I wanna talk to you after the meeting, I'll get your phone number and I'll.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of ATVs being ridden around here, and I've got 3 that are licensed to be driven on the roads in Arizona, you know, that are completely illegal according to Colorado state law, but
Give me a
other
little
than
bit
the
of
fact
time.
that it's an ATV.
Give me a little bit of time and I will respond to you.
Okay.
Who's next?
Well, Justin,
It's illegal in the state of Colorado to operate an ATV on the road, period.
No, well, no, there's several communities here in the state of Colorado that
A
actually allow
lot of communities do it.
inside the community.
Well, it's in Arizona, but.
If they own their road.
Yeah, if they own their own roads, if the city
Okay,
does,
all right, okay.
they can allow it.
That's,
all right, next I have Sam, Samuel.
Hello, I'm new here.
Well,
So, we just bought and built a house up on Isabella, and I think Jim pretty much has already answered my question, but there's a lot that's behind us that I've done some research on, and it appears, when you go through the Pueblo County's assessor's office, that it belongs, the quick claim deed shows it in Colorado City possession. So I'm having a hard time understanding that. I've talked to the tax assessor, stuff like that, and I'm just trying to figure out who owns it. If you know, if it belongs to Colorado City, you know, can I purchase it? You know, with no intent to build on it but a fence, and that's it.
Mr. Chairman.
Jim, have you checked, is that,
Yeah,
do we own it?
I've went through it. We don't have it in our property list. It could be Colorado City Holdings Company, or it was out there in the tax sale and somebody has paid the taxes on it, but they haven't got to the point of getting a tax sale deed out for it.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Go ahead.
A number of years ago, I don't remember how many, but approximately 413 or 417 lots were handed over to the Metro. Now, I don't know if this is one of them or not, but it's something to look into. If it was one of those in that group, there's a possibility that all the paperwork never got completed on it. But they were given over in lieu of back taxes and stuff. Some of them were given over to the county, but most of them were handed over to the Metro. So a little research there, if it says Metro, and the chair is right about some of them are Colsey and some of them are Metro. So you have to be careful which one you're dealing with. But there were a little over 400 that were handed over, that a little research will help us find it.
Yeah, because it shows in '92 it got quit claimed
Yes,
to
that's
Colorado
the
City,
approximate time frame.
but it's not. But it never got retitled.
That's the approximate time frame.
So I just want to find out if I can buy it.
Well, if we
You know,
own
what-
it, of course, you
yeah.
can make an offer.
You can make an offer.
And
If we
so,
own it. So first thing, of course, is to verify the fact that we own it.
and so how? I guess with it still, it's still sort of titled in another person's name.
When you go to mapping down the county,
And then shows the quitclaim deed,
Or to the assessor.
but that's it.
to the assessor or mapping. Mapping will probably help you pretty good down there at the county courthouse.
Because on the website, it actually shows that it belongs to this lady, right?
Yes.
It shows that it belongs to the lady, but then you look at the bottom part of it and it says CC.
And that's actually something that I just ran into with one of my properties. It was, they didn't change it correctly down there, and it's been that way for a while. And I went down to mapping, and they solved it. So if you go down to mapping and tell them about it, they can probably look it up, and they'll fix it within a couple of days once they discover it.
So once they figure that out, and then if it truly is, then I could just come
Yeah,
and make
come
well,
make us an offer.
I'll help you with that, with the buy and sell agreement. You just need to get 3 competitive prices for it.
And then,
And then when it comes to the board votes on it whether, you know, your offer's good or whether they want to counter.
okay.
Okay.
And then one last thing, because I'm curious, like, from my window, I don't know the name of the street, I think it's not Hickline, it's the next one east, there's a big motorhome there. And,
Is it the orange one?
Yeah,
Okay, we are working on it.
it's right there where the old baseball field is.
yeah,
Yeah, there.
'cause they live here, I've seen them come and go.
Yeah, we're working on that.
We are.
We're in the process of
That is an active issue.
Yeah, they live here, so I've seen them, so. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it. Coulter, you
Thanks, Al.
didn't want to touch?
No.
Okay.
That's it. So,
I have a question.
outside of the regular meeting,
Hold on.
does anybody have,
Yeah.
anybody else?
Sorry, Mr. Ellie, we didn't sign in. We had an issue we brought to the architectural committee, and they were supposed to come to the committee tonight for approval, possibly, for the Metro Board for approval.
We haven't got that far yet.
We're not.
Oh, then I'm speaking out of line, just tell me to get out. I'd rather comply.
That will come up. It will come up in the
I'm
meeting.
just trying to cut the meeting short, that's all.
Anybody else have anything from the audience? Okay, Jim?
Citizens input, we got that, attorney's report, I don't have anything. Agenda items, you have bylaw update. We went through it, I know there was 2 changes that you guys were looking at. One is on page 4, adding a moment of silent reflection, and then.
Go ahead.
May I interrupt a moment?
Go ahead.
Before we get down to that, we were at the attorney's report. I would like to know why we have a $800 bill from the water attorney. So I figured that would be.
I'd have to pull the bill.
Report.
I can pull the bill and send it to you as to what it's been worked on.
Could you enlighten us, what it is?
I don't unless I look at the bill to
Okay.
see what they're charging us for.
Okay.
$800, it wasn't much more than conversation.
Okay.
Cause I don't remember talking to him, it must be, I don't remember talking to him, so it must be something that.
Can I get a motion on the,
I make a motion that we approve the updated, version of our, bylaws
with,
with the corrections as stated.
and what are those corrections?
On page 4, adding the, moment of silent reflection. And the other page was,
Okay.
It was
Page 3,
letter E.
Letter E.
Section 6, letter E.
Adding PRCRS to
Yes.
paragraph E?
Yes.
Okay. Could you restate that motion?
I'm calling for reading of the question.
Do we have a second on that? I think we understand what it is.
Oh, you're gonna second
Okay, just a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak on that.
Go ahead.
You know, it's nice to update the bylaws, but your rules and regulations have been so screwed up. They've been screwed up since before we were elected this board. So, you know, you kind of need to bring it as a package. That's just my thoughts on it. I yield.
Any other discussion? Let's vote. Mr. Hochstetler?
yes.
Mr. Cook?
No.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mhm.
All right, old business then?
Old business, government's lawyer, dump truck, I'm waiting for a bill of sale on it. Applewood Park, we covered it in that, we're waiting for prices on fall protection. Cameras for the plants, I just received a bid, about 2 days ago. It was on a Sunday. Water lease, like I said, we're still waiting for Fleming. We did check. There is no water being taken from the ditch. Water loss update, we are continuing to find things within our system that have been there for years. And it's been a process. Over the last probably 2 months, we're looking at almost $120,000 extra in revenue a year between water and sewer that has not been being billed for. And this is due to Yvonne's work and Christie's work and Greg's work and mine trying to figure out what is happening. We're breaking down the reports and isolating a lot of things.
Anything else?
No,
A question. The dump truck.
dump truck.
I'm picking on the dump truck, I guess.
Mhm.
But the dump truck, we have been using it.
Yes, she,
So why are we talking about waiting?
well, I just need her, give me a, bill of sale on it, so that way we can,
Well, we've been using it anyway.
yeah, she said, use it, test it, do whatever you need to do with it. Until
So
she
it
can
doesn't
get
appear
it.
to me that we're waiting. We are using it. We have a
Yeah,
dump truck.
we're
We use
using-
the dump truck.
Yes,
Okay, so
We
any
have to.
dump truck issues, we have to be taken care of.
yep.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak on something.
Go ahead.
First off, the dump truck,
Mhm.
how are you insuring it? If we don't
It's-
own it,
it's-
how's it insured?
It's undershirt, it's insured by her. And that's why she said, use it until I can get you the bill of sale in time.
This, cameras for the truck.
Mhm.
Now, I'm probably gonna yield in a moment to Director Collins, but he has spoke many
I
times
know,
about, he goes down, buys cameras, and installs them in a day.
mhm,
We've been discussing it for 6 months.
mhm.
No,
Did you say yield?
not yet. Yeah, if we can't do it internally, and a man can do it in his own business in one day, it doesn't make sense. Why haven't you just gone down, purchased some cameras? It's well within the $5,000 range. Hell, I think it's only $1,000 for him.
$1,000 is what I spent.
So you buy the cameras, install them, and be done with it. Next topic is the water loss update. The chair instructed a document to show gallons and numbers and everything, so it's something we can look at. That's not here. We've been waiting on that
If
for 2 months
if you
now.
listen to my report, Mr. Cook,
Yes, I did.
and I told you, I just got an email, you wanna see the email? At 5 o'clock is when he sent it to me as to.
We're not talking about that
information.
email. We're talking about a document that was supposed to have been produced 2 months ago. Not the CSV file. Just a handwritten document. If you can't print it, handwrite it. Where's the numbers? I'm gonna hold my others for new business, I yield.
Anybody else?
I think in response to that, I have to respond. He's meeting tomorrow with a gentleman that, with you too, to get the spreadsheet, that you can get something out, that you can get maybe accurate records of what we have. We're trying to get there. I mean, it's been a mess for years. It's not gonna be fixed overnight, and I get tired of the harping all the time, like they say, we don't do anything. We're doing a lot of things. And I think we just need to sit back, and the man's coming in tomorrow, or talking to him, to say, okay, here's what we need to do, here's a spreadsheet, and you're gonna say, here's the information you want. I know you've been asking for things. Maybe tomorrow you'll get the answer, because the guy gave him the information tonight at 5 o'clock. I mean, I was watching a ball game at 5 o'clock,
Okay.
okay? And I'll yield.
Any other old business? New business?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
first one on new business I've got, the road cut in Applewood. You've got 15 days from the time you cut that pavement to repair that pavement. It's been 2 months. Why is it not done?
Where are you talking at?
Middle of Applewood Drive, goes right across.
That was a contractor.
Does not matter, it's gotta be done. If it's a water line or sewer line that caused it, it's gotta be done. If you know the contractor that didn't get it done, you need to be on his ass.
And I was on him, and he was going to have it done, but it snowed.
Well, it's not been snowing,
I know.
so, you have a serious issue.
No, just language, please.
You overfilled the lake. Whether you're running the well or not, you're under state mandate not to overfill it.
We didn't overfill.
You did overfill it. I talked to the state yesterday. They're coming down here and they're going to start monitoring it.
Yes.
So you overfilled the
I'm
lake.
at 15.4 right now.
And he said he doesn't want it over 15.
I know, but
So,
I can't help it that the
You
runoff goes
overfilled
into
it.
the lake.
I pointed this out a
But the
week and
ditch
a half
is
ago
shut off,
to the
Bob.
manager.
There's no water going into the lake.
You have a way to draw down the lake as needed.
Yes, we do.
I instructed the manager a week and a half ago that it was over the top. You were over at that time. You had plenty
I've
of time
got
to
no
pull it
water
down.
going into the lake. All my water is
You're creating
going
liability
bypass.
on us when you do that.
No,
It is. It
I
creates
can't help
liability
it
upon
that
the
the
whole.
water runs into the lake. But the ditch is shut off. All my water is bypassed right now.
And you can pull a plug if you've got to. That's one of the safety issues. You can pull it down.
And it's
We are.
been shut off for 2 weeks.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on.
No. So we have a meeting on Thursday
Go ahead.
with the state.
You know, point of order, sir. I have a problem being an ex-administrator. A lot of these things could be done one-on-one in an office. All these
Mr.
things.
Chairman, that's not a point of
That's
order.
not- Let's move on.
I want to bring up, under new business, I was approached by other board members of creating a new position within the Metro District. Now, most of this I want to yield to Director Collins, but I wanted to get it out there on the table. We have a serious issue with water levels, disinfection. We failed TTHM, the HAA 5s again. We're not getting it done in the water department. And even I suggest that maybe we are to spin off that department to somebody that is fully competent in the area. Now, I can't blame that on Jim because he didn't come in here as a water expert. And he's having to wing it as he goes, because when I find a document and take it to Jim, and he says, well, let me turn it over to somebody else. It's a problem. I suggest that you create a whole new position that's equal to the manager, that the manager, it takes a load off of him in a department he's not familiar with. And I would make it water and wastewater, because they run hand in hand and need similar licenses. And I would like to yield to Director Collins for more information.
So, one of the things that, I've done a little research, I've talked to a few people. One of the things that has been happening in several communities across this state and several other places, they have been breaking off water and sewer from the city management division and making it its own basic division. Putting a person in charge of it because of the regulations, because of the statutes. I mean, everything has gotten 20 years ago, the book has went from this to this, you know, in just a few years. And quite frankly, I think we as the board are expecting too much out of a city manager to handle all of that, plus handle all the other stuff. Because we still got the golf course, we still got the government side of business, we still got the Parks and Rec side of business, we still got roads department, we've got office personnel, we got a ton of stuff on your plate. And it has gotten to the point now to where I actually don't think that one person can handle it all and do a good job. Let's put it that way. And I think you've done an excellent job for one person, but I don't think that you're able to do a good enough job. I think that we need to get two people involved in this. And if we split them off, like a lot of the cities have been doing, and we create that separate department that is ran by a utilities person that has the licenses and qualifications to do that, to run the department, has the certs to run the department on distribution, has the, you know, the A's, the AA licenses, the in sewer, in water. If they have that stuff to be able to they know exactly what's being told to them, and they understand it. Because I know you've been learning, but I don't think that you understand everything that's being told to you. And I'm not entirely too certain that you have the ability to double check it. Where I think we need a person in that position that has the ability to know whether or not he's being told the truth, or whether or not he's being sold a bill of goods. I yield.
Discussion amongst the board. I would like to hear from each board member. Mr. Kraus, what do you think?
Well, I've shared the belief, and I think I've made it clear that we're understaffed. The direct way to cure the understaffing, I'm not 100% sure of, but I think, I think when you look at all the different hats that Jim has to wear, it's a wonder he has hair. The hair follicles should be down. And I think that that's certainly one of the options we could look at. My first question is how do we work another management person into a budget? But at the same time, good people tend, enough good people, because I believe we have good people, but enough good people tend to pay for themselves. I had lots of questions yet, but.
Mr. Oxtaylor?
You know, I think it's a pretty good idea, and then you sit here and the gentleman was here that dealt with the water, and before he said, it takes you how many years to get trained to do all that stuff? And if you bring somebody in as an intern, then they have to be monitored by somebody. I know we probably need to do some research and do some looking on it and not close the door on it, but put it down as one of the things we need to maybe do, update, but I don't know when to do that or even if people are available to do it. Because water's an issue, but I think with all the monies we're gonna go to, hopefully, to get a new watering system in here, I think we might get something done in the next 10 years when I'm sitting around watching you guys work. But I think it's something we could look at.
So, I'd like to hear from Mr. Manager.
What Greg is saying is right, most of it is. The biggest problem I see is your cost. Your cost is going to, for that administrator, you're looking probably at a 3-figure salary. If you want somebody that has water, wastewater, double A's, that situation. Yeah, it would be fantastic. I also look at Terry's side of it too, is it's something that's gotta be fit into the budget. Yeah, we've done our best. I have good people that are trying to, and I agree, the regulations get tighter and tighter and tighter every year. As for not being, within their scope, in the last 2 quarters, we have hit. We had a bad quarter when we did have a break. Yes, it's averaged in over a year. So we're working to solve the problems. It's like they say, you can throw money at any problem and it's gonna get solved sooner or later.
So Jim, kind of question I think maybe, I would guess that all of us have, is that if we were to do something like that, it would be, and consider it be two managers, managers of basically two different departments of the city. You as a district manager, would that free you up to work, to really concentrate on the rest of the city? And could you work with, as a team, with a different manager of that department?
Yeah, that'd be no problem.
Would
Well,
that
yes,
free
it
you
would
up?
be probably a help, it would be help all the way around. I see other areas that we're talking about that we need help in a lot of areas with personnel. You know, it's just getting the funding to get it there, yeah. We probably could have rate increases and all of that, but at this point, to get where we need to be, you know, the people that have worked, Yvonne has done tremendous in getting us back to hitting debt ratios and bringing the funding that we have matching money for grants,
Okay,
things like that. So, you know, yeah.
so our next step, I think, is,
I think we need to do a little research on it and see what the cost, what you're looking at, and that aspect.
okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
My question is, when those guys make those runs up to Johnstown and things, see what they have for,
Their structure.
their structures for water and sewer and the thing. And just kind of keep your eyes open and look.
Say no, Pueblo Water District did that
Yeah,
before.
Yeah.
Because it's just gotten to be.
there's actually several of them, because water and sewer has gotten to be such a, for lack of a better word, such a monster
Mhm.
with all the regulations and stuff. I mean, I actually think that the board is almost in derelict of its duty, expecting you to do all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Because I'm not sure that if you had all the certs, and because you've already got all the city experience per se, okay, and you had all the certs to go along with it, and you had about an extra 12, 14 hours in the day, okay, you could probably do all this in the manner that it needs to be done. But I don't think one person can do it.
Okay, let's move on. We need to discuss it some more, I think, do some little bit of research and work on that. Any other new business? All right, let's move on to the Garland City Architectural Committee. I think for new construction.
Well, now it's my turn. Okay, here we go.
Now it's your turn.
Is it actions or is it new construction?
Well, it's just replacing a roof.
I'm sorry?
I think you've got his address penciled down.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, this is,
It's Mr. James Garnett's and Christopher.
oh, it's
Garnett's.
on Lake Beckwith?
You're right.
Gotcha.
They want to replace the roof of
Solar?
metal roof and put solar on top of it.
Yep.
So we came to architectural committee and now it's come to the Metro board for discussion and hopefully approval.
Okay, so does the board wanna do these individually? We have one we need to pull out, other
Just
four.
pull the one out, pull
The
the one out. that we have
4113
to-
West Jefferson,
Yes, right, yeah. That's
is that the one that needs to be pulled aside?
Yes.
Just for a second.
Yes.
Can we do the four just in one motion?
So I will make a motion at this time that we approve 4814 East Jefferson, 3920 McKenzie Drive, 3131 Stanley, and 5736 Lake Beckwith.
I would like to amend his motion to be McIntyre Drive.
No, McIntyre. Did I read that wrong?
Yes.
Sorry,
Okay, do I have a second?
old eyes.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Now let's vote. Mr. Cook, how do you vote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Hochteller?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, one other thing, that it will be color coded to the house and the trim, so that all matches.
Oh, that was what Mr. Cook specified.
Just
All right, let's, deal with
I know,
4113, West Jefferson.
I make a motion that 4113 West Jefferson Garage, that we approve it, pending the final inspection of, the CCAC committee, to make sure it's within the parameters that are stated.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak.
Go ahead.
Personally, I do not like taking something out of our standard protocol because it opens us up for taking other things out of protocol. I suggest, I'm sorry it got missed, it wasn't in the proper file, but we do have a review in 2 days. It can be reviewed and recommended at the next meeting. I yield.
Anybody else? Let's vote. Mr. Cook, how do you vote?
No.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Hochteller?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Okay, this one, these are separate from this one. All right, we have 11 first letters, 11 second letters. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion at this time that we approve sending out the 11 first letters and 11 second letters.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Moved and second, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
even though I was there for the auditing, even then we couldn't determine exactly where we were at on this. I know we need to move forward, but I can't verify these numbers, so
What would be your suggestion then, Mr. Cook?
one more week, one more meeting to verify these. Me and Neil have gone through this so many times, but we found a hiccup in the spreadsheet, and I just want to be for sure that we're on the proper letter.
Okay, I will speak to that. I don't wanna wait. We did, and Christie has helped us a lot on the spreadsheet. We have used the spreadsheet to audit the ones that got missed and worked with this, and we did look at these. I'm prepared, I'm comfortable with going ahead with this.
So are you worried that maybe one letter might be doubled? Is that what the
No,
concern
I'm
is?
worried about a number of them being not necessarily double, but in the wrong stage. That's just my personal opinions is all. That's
Might be getting a third letter when they should have got a second,
correct. But well, no.
or a second letter when they already got a second.
When they should have, they've already gotten second time. I'm not worried about third letters at all.
Okay. I yield.
Go ahead.
I feel that if you're in that point though, you know, if they got a first letter and it was a long period of time, that to give them the first letter back again, I don't see where you were hurting anything. It would be that point that they never got the first letter, and they're getting a second letter. That would be the only concern, but
And if
most
they get
likely
two
they've been contacted.
Kirsty, did you have something? Okay. All right, anybody else?
And just to emphasize on that point, if they do get 2 second letters, so what?
Yeah.
We gave them
In
an
fact,
extra stage.
I think that we have, Mr. Cook and I actually discussed it a little bit, is that the third letter's gonna get expensive. So it could be that there are situations where maybe we just assume from the second letter. But anyway, that's kind of a discussion issue for the future. I'm prepared to vote. Mr. Oxeller?
Yes.
Ms. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
President?
Chair votes yes. Motion passed. Let's send those letters out. Any correspondence, Jim?
No, I don't.
Okay. We need to go into executive session.
Is this the right, the way you guys got it listed?
Yes.
Okay. So I move at this time that we go into executive session, statute 24-6-402, 4F, CRS, discussion with District Manager James Ecker and Finance Department, Yvonne Barron.
I'll second the motion.
Moved and seconded, let's go into executive session.
Now, this is just discussion, and you're inviting us back in after for discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanna make sure that we're clear as to what we discussed last week.
Well, they'll probably just be separate instead of both at the same time.
Okay, well, however you wanna do it.
Correct?
We wanna do them together?
One at a time.
Separate.
Okay.
I
I'll leave
think
it
we
at
do
that.
it together. I think we do it together.
Executive session.
I don't wanna know what everybody says.
Yeah, I don't either. Already got a bruised ego.